Everybody, this is the Valentine's Month Memorial Island Sanctuary Committee meeting, and I'd like to call the meeting to order and begin with a Pledge of Allegiance. So, Barb, could you lead that?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. The minutes were sent out for review. Are there any recommendations to the January 6th minutes for amendment?
Make a motion, we approve them.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Knock that out. Audience participation. Unfortunately, the viewing audience is our public today, and I would just say, if you have the opportunity, you are most welcome to come here. We enjoy input from the community and always benefit from it. So please come the 10 o'clock and the first Wednesday of the month right here. Moving on to new business. This month will be a quick meeting. We have nothing to address at that point. And moving to old business. Recap of the Bartley Memorial Service. I had the opportunity of being there, and for those that weren't, it was a wet, damp Friday morning on the island, and it was inspirational. It sounds contradictory, but anybody that would like to honor their family that has a veteran that's passed away is able to do so. And by a blessing, the VNA chaplain happened to be a Navy historian, which I was not aware of. And when we were gathered by the Navy Memorial, and Captain Demsick from the Veterans Council walked up in his Veterans Council shirt in the rain, carrying the wreath, it was moving. And then the man that passed away, his daughter, was unaware that he was aboard a destroyer who had, amongst other destroyers, shocked the Japanese fleet sufficiently in the Pacific that they paused long enough for the rest of the American fleet to close, and they won the naval battle. So it's just amazing what happens when people come together, and also by word of mouth, some of the American Legion riders walked up in their uniforms as well. So we had assembled a small group, and I know that it was meaningful to the family. And I just think that the island is such a incredible setting, whether it's sunny or rainy. So those looking, take advantage of it. Okay. Silver Star ceremony. Rob, you want to mention anything about that?
Rob Slezak, Recreation Director. Wow, it was really one fine event, and recognizing a true hero out at the sanctuary. Your crowd was roughly around 700 people, and I think that each and every one got to experience something that was quite unique, and got to see a quite unique character and a hero.
Right.
And it was very well done. The whole thing was a great. And fortunately, the weather held out and helped us out. So tremendous, and quite a great job by you. But also, it's really nice to see someone get recognized and do all those great things that they do.
Well, it's again another treat, and I think you were very conservative in the estimate for the numbers, because I'll tell you what, we published 500 programs, and easily we could have doubled that. I think. and the city made it happen as usual. Thanks, Bob Greco, with the sound system. Thanks to everybody that made that come together. And we were warned because of all of the monsoon rains that we may have to go over to the county. And thank you to Joe Baird for offering the county chambers. Had we needed to use them, we could have. But there's just so many different aspects of it that was incredible. In fact, one of the sheriff deputies was there, and one of the individuals, older gentleman, looked like he was not of a lot of strength, and they immediately obtained one of the golf carts, and he was transported to medical services. So, morning, Jim.
Good morning.
And so I want to say thank you to the sheriff, the police department, everybody I know that is involved was just incredible. And the nice thing about that was we had gentlemen from outside of Florida, and the comment by his commander, who flew in from California, is that he's never seen a community come together like that. And then the master sergeant of his organization said, "I'm from Texas, and I've never seen anything like this either." And so
he even said he's moving here.
Yeah,
exactly. And then for Sylvester McIntosh to have his family there, included a son that was in the medical department and bio maintenance, was enormous. To have his wife there, to speak of other members of the 1st to the 9th Marines, and the Marines were there from his organization. I believe that the community really has something to take pride in, and I think Alex McWilliam would be very pleased with what the city of Vero Beach has done there. And every time we have people come, they walk away and they said, "I didn't realize what this was so about." And I think we gathered together the group from Gifford as well. And they said it wasn't about a black man or a white man, or it was just about a Marine that served his country and was finally recognized justly for his service. And I think that's enormous.
One thing on that, Tony, when you went to introduce me to his son, I'm not sure if you remember me, I'm telling you, I was actually served in the Army with him and in the National Guard here in Florida in Vero Beach. And when you said, "Let me introduce you to him," I always called him Mac. So I didn't, when it said McIntosh, I never put the two things together. But it was really cool to see him again. I hadn't seen him in a long time.
Right. I think I'm just like Amelie. This community is so special that you can have an event like this and walk away and find so many connections with your family. It just astounds you. One of the parishioners at church taught his son, was it baseball or football? And he said that Sylvester was so mobbed with people wanting to congratulate him that he saw his son and walked up to his son and says, "You remember me?" He said, "I'm not really sure." And then he said, "What about my son?" He said, "Oh my gosh." And so, I mean, the generations of families that were there. So, again, thank you, Jim and City of Vero Beach, for making that possible. I know we had the staff concerned for a little bit, and Don, appreciate it. Okay.
There another organization that was going to present him with the Presidential Volunteer Service Award for his thousands of hours of service. Did that ever get presented?
I think they did it separately.
Yeah. He had so many things going on already, but I know that that was part of it.
Yeah. No.
Another award that for his volunteer work.
Okay. All right. Anything else from the group from Silver Star? Let's move on to the military march. And Bruce, if you'd come up and kind of give us an update, I'd appreciate it.
Morning, y'all. Bruce Cady. I'm here representing the Hump for Our Vets, the event that we're hosting on February 13th. And I guess as far as an update, first off, I'd like to thank y'all for the approval for us to take a little sojourn during our event on the Veterans Memorial Island. We received tremendous support from the city, from the county. We got our road use permit in place, so we're official and legal for the conduct of the march. I'm conservatively estimating about 25 participants.
Wow.
I suspect it'll be a bit over that, but certainly less than 50, probably in that order of magnitude. We're having participants from the Sheriff's Department, City of Vero Beach, County Fire Services, paramedics, and these are participants in the event, and school teachers, and doctors and lawyers, and just a wonderful outpouring of folks. Doy Demsick is going to be presenting our tribute when we arrive on the island, and he has a nice program put together for our participants. And then I would like to spread word that after the event, roughly about 12:30 on February 13th, at the conclusion, we're going to be hosting a barbecue for all the participants and also members of the community, the veterans community. We would love to have as many veterans come and mingle with our participants and share their stories. And that, I think the most moving part of this for me is enabling people that do not have a military background or experience to interface with those of us in the veterans community at a very personal level. And there are neighbors, there are school teachers, they're part of our community here, and it's just been a wonderful outpouring of support from the general population and the veterans that are a part of this. We're just having a good time. This is going to be a great event.
Good. Now you were explaining something about the weights and all this kind of stuff for the rucks, we've got what are they carrying that distance?
Well, so I'll go over what we're publicly stating. There are going to be some surprises for the participants that I would, since this is televised, I just assume not let the cat out of the bag. We're suggesting that our participants carry a ruck or a pack with, for males, 25 pounds, for females, 15 pounds. The cadre, the event coordinators, we're going to have 40-pound rucks, so we're certainly not going to be shirking our load at all. And in addition to our individual loads, we have team weights. Those represent carrying equipment to the front line, whether it's ammunition, mortar plates, or what have you. And so to simulate that weight, we have sandbags, 60-pound sandbags, 80-pound sandbags, and 35-pound sandbags, as well as kettlebells. And if you all aren't familiar with the kettlebell, that's a cast iron, roughly the size of a bell with a kind of a horn handle on the top. And we have 35-pound and 45-pound kettlebells that we're going to be dispersing amongst the participants. And
it sounds exciting. I hope you have an aidman following the team as well, right?
We do have a vehicle in trace. We do have a chase vehicle throughout the event.
Okay. All right. Good.
And just for the members of the public that might be intimidated by that description, this event is intended for people of all fitness levels. The only requirement or prerequisite that I'd recommend is being able to walk under your own power for about 9 miles for over 3.5 hours, about a 3-mile-an-hour pace. So if you don't feel comfortable carrying the weights, you're not going to be asked to carry the weights. But we do have some fire breathers that are going to be joining us, so we need to load them down and make sure they feel a good burn.
Could you go ahead and give the address of where the barbecue is going to be afterward? You had mentioned that.
Yeah, very good, sir. The event is being sponsored by Orchid Island CrossFit, and they're located at 3101 Aviation Boulevard. That's just across the street from the Vero Beach Municipal Airport. It's in kind of a warehouse building. You'll see signage for Orchid Island CrossFit. Just pull into the parking lot in the back of the building. you'll hear some music, patriotic music blaring through their loud speaker system, and just follow the smoke from the barbecue and join
If
it.
people need to contact you for additional information, you got a phone number?
Certainly. You can reach me at, I'll give two different ways. My telephone number is area code 772-559-7774. And then my email address is bruce.cady, and you spell my last name, Charlie Alpha Delta Yankee, @gmail.com. We're using Facebook to publicize and market this event. We do have a Facebook event page for the event. You can find it by searching for Hump for Our Vets, and that's how we've been disseminating information to our participants and recruiting participants. So you can also use the Facebook event page to learn more about the event.
Well, being a soldier, the terminology by the Marines is a little bit different than ours for the marches. But I was reading a book about Vietnam, and in fact, it was about the 19 Marines. And there is a page poem recounting the tribulations of those marches that the Marines had, and it was basically when the days were hard and they still had to move out, and it's talking about it. So anyway.
Yes, sir. So the Army rucks, the Marine Corps humps, the Air Force flies, and the Navy floats.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, I know that from your flyer, this is it's a fundraiser for the Veterans Council. Those that aren't participating or actually aren't on the hump, how can they help? For some that might be listening, can they support it in some way if they're not actually in the participating?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you'd like to volunteer, we have all sorts of work that needs to be done. We have all sorts of weights that need to be moved out. We're having a work day the day prior, Friday, February 12th. If you'd like to come out and participate in helping us get set up, you can contact me either through Facebook or the telephone number or email address that I provided, and we can coordinate your help. It is a fundraiser, and thank you for reminding me to mention that. This is a fundraiser for the Veterans Council of Indian River County. All the proceeds are going directly to the council. I am asking participants and also donors that would just like to contribute to please come on the day of the event, February 13th, and Doy Demsick will be gathering those funds. If you bring a check, please make it payable to the Veterans Council of Indian River County, and if you bring cash, that's great.
That's good too.
And John, thank you for reminding me. For participants, we're suggesting a donation amount of $25 for an individual. For families, and we do have a number of families participating, myself included, we're asking for a $40 donation.
About what time approximately would they be at Memorial Island, just as a guesstimation?
Probably about between 10 and 10:30.
Now, Rob, is there another function going on the Barrier Island during that time frame? You got anything under the oaks? Or?
I don't think so. I don't think it should be anything too. The date is again what?
13th?
February 13th.
Saturday the 13th.
Garden Fest is this week.
Yeah, Garden Fest is this week.
Could be like the boat show or something. I don't think so. I don't think it'll be anything.
All right.
Me too.
Your participants can't molest any of the other folks on under the oaks as they walk by. Yeah, I agree. Okay. Very good.
Besides supporting a worthy cause, it sounds like a lot of fun, and I see it's the first annual, so the plan is to carry on with this, which is a good thing.
Yes, sir.
It reminds me of moving out on my first operation as a grunt in Vietnam with rifle and ammunition and a couple of grenades, a law, and then, of course, the squad leader says, here, carry a can of machine gun ammo, and by the way, here's a mortar round or two. And so I was thinking, if we take fire, how am I going to actually return fire? My hands are full and I'm loaded down. And
John probably was about my weight. I would imagine. I mean, here we are weighing in a little bit over 100 pounds. You're carrying half again your weight. I mean, so.
Sounds like great fun and certainly supporting a worthy cause and bringing veterans together. It's a good thing.
Thanks.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And if you don't mind, I'm going to depart after this and get back to work.
Understand.
So thank you all very much, and look forward to seeing you all come out on the 13th.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Moving to chairman's matters, let's, if we could, just take the opportunity and highlight the veterans that were mentioned in January. So, John, if you would speak about Irvin.
Yeah, these are the veterans that we memorialize or honor their memory on Memorial Island. And this is for Boatswain's Mate First Class John Harold Irving, Jr., United States Navy. He died in service May 7th, 1972. Boatswain's Mate First Class, or BM1, John Harold Irving, Jr., was a senior non-commissioned officer and a Vietnam War veteran that served 10 years in the United States Navy. He was born on January 23rd, 1943. He came to Vero Beach in 1957 and lived on the Barrier Island. The family of 3 boys and 2 girls were the children of John Harold Irving, Sr. and Virginia McKee. His nickname was Gigi. He smiled. His smile and joy of life were cherished memories. John enlisted in the Navy on January 26, 1962. He was killed while assigned to the Naval Explosive Ordnance Disposal Board in Indian Head, Maryland. His accident cut short the service of a Distinguished Underwater Demolition Team, or UDT 12 veteran. BM1 Irving received the Navy Commendation Medal with the Combat V for valor, among numerous other commendations. In addition, his unit was awarded the Presidential Unit Citation. The UDT and SEAL teams worked closely in Vietnam and were eventually merged. He is buried in Section F, Row 6 in Crestlawn Cemetery. His cenotaph is located in Column B, Row 1. He was highlighted on January 5th.
Okay. Thanks. Emily?
Seaman Felix George Popple, U.S. Coast Guard, killed in action September 26, 1918. Seaman Felix Popple is one of the sanctuary's most storied World War I veterans. He grew up in Winter Beach, which at the time was called Quay, and at a time Vero and Indian River County had yet to be incorporated. He was born on January the 6th, 1899, in Perry County, Florida. On April the 6th, 1917, the U.S. declared war with Germany. He enlisted 11 days later at the Fort Pierce recruiting station. He joined the Coast Guard cutter Tampa on July the 15th, 1917. He sailed for European waters that September. In the course of the next year, the crew escorted 18 convoys through submarine-infested waters between Gibraltar and Britain. Then, in the evening of September 26, 1918, U-boat 53 sunk the ship on a convoy to Milford Haven, Wales. There were no survivors. A total of 131 on board were lost. Seaman Popple was 19 years old. The ship and crew is memorialized on the U.S. Coast Guard Memorial in Arlington National Cemetery. The names are also preserved in the memorial window at the American Legion Post in Tampa. Felix's body was lost at sea. The St. Lucie County World War I memorial bears his name also. His memory is preserved with an obelisk in the Winter Beach Cemetery. The Popple family gave land to the formation of the cemetery. On November 10, 1999, the men of the crew were finally awarded the Purple Heart Medal. A copy of the citation and his photo is displayed at the American Legion Felix Popple Post in Vero Beach. His cenotaph is found on column C, row 1 of Memorial Island. He was highlighted on the local news magazine on January the 12th.
Thanks. Barb?
Apprentice Seaman Aaron Wilson Kemp, U.S. Navy, died in service December 14th, 1917. Aaron Kemp was a neighbor of Felix Popple. The 1910 census reflects the two families side by side in Quay, now Winter Beach. His dad was William R. Kemp. His mother was Eliza E. Kemp Chambers. Aaron was 12 days younger than Felix. He was born on Christmas Day, 1898. He joined the Navy in November 1917 in Atlanta, Georgia. Seaman Kemp reported to his receiving ship in Norfolk, Virginia. Only a month later, he succumbed to bronchial pneumonia in a Norfolk Naval Hospital. The Kemp family plot is located a few steps east of the Popple family's plot at the Winter Beach Cemetery. On his headstone, you will read, "What hopes have perished with you, my son?" Aaron had not yet reached his 19th birthday, and he left a wife. His name is on the St. Lucie County World War I memorial marker in Fort Pierce. His cenotaph is found in column A, row 8. He was highlighted on the local news magazine on December 15th.
Private Faye Roscoe Taylor, U.S. Army, died in service October 12, 1918. Faye Roscoe Taylor was from Fellsmere. He was the only son of Jesse J. Taylor. His sisters were Miss Gilbert Parkaskis and Miss C.W. Manning. Faye was born in Vernon Center, Mankato, Minnesota on April 12, 1897. He was inducted into the Army on July 29, 1918. His first duty was at Camp Forest near Atlanta. In short order, he shipped out of Camp Upton, Long Island, for France. Private Taylor was a sapper or a combat engineer. He was assigned to E Company 1059 Regiment. He died of disease while serving in France. Private Faye was temporarily interned overseas. The July 24, 1920 Fellsmere Tribune tells that he was one of the first to be returned. The funeral procession of about 20 cars moved from his home with a military escort to the cemetery. Today, you will find his beautiful grave at the Brookside Cemetery, marked with a gold star. The gold star symbolizes a service member that died in service to his country. On June 7, 1921, his mother's application for his award of the Victory Medal was approved. Some of his fellow sappers fought in the Meuse-Argonne Forest battle at the time of his death. World War I ended a month later. He was only 19 years old. The St. Lucie County Monument with his name was erected in February 1920. His cenotaph in the Veterans Memorial and Sanctuary is located column F, row 6. He was highlighted on the local news magazine on December 22nd.
Very good. Thanks.
If I can add a little bit on when the crew members of the Tampa were awarded the Purple Heart in 1999, the Tampa came into Fort Lauderdale, and the Coast Guard took us out to the ship, and and we actually was almost like the old days. I thought as a pirate needed a saber in my teeth climbing up the and we actually, and with the Tampa was a pretty big, it's Coast Guard cutter, and they took us out on the smaller Coast Guard craft, which they don't kind of bob together, and basically just almost as soon as your feet left the smaller craft, two big Coast Guardmen just grabbed you and just lifted us right up onto the thing. And that's when they presented the Purple Heart to the crew, and it was a great.
Oh, wow.
Great
Wow. I hope is that. I wonder where I could get the count of that. If it was
the Coast Guard and Felix Popple, here in.
But I mean, the actual presentation, that would have been something out at sea.
Picture. Yeah, it was a great. I don't know if I have. That was before the. That was back when we had film and so forth rather than digital cameras. So I don't know if I could find it or not. But no doubt, it was a big deal. A lot of us went out there and.
The sinking of the Tampa was the second Coast Guard ship. The Seneca was the other, and the what I didn't know is by percentage, the loss of those two vessels by the Coast Guard was proportionally the greatest loss during that conflict for a service, and that's why they have it's like a pyramid that's on the eastern side of the Arlington Cemetery with all of the names there. And then if you go to Tampa, the American Legion Pavilion there, it's a stained glass, beautiful memorial window with the names of all of the crew with their ranks, et cetera, in gold. It's striking. So, I think history. We participated in history in Indian River County, and it's reflected on the island for sure. So, and then it continues with the Silver Star citation or a medal being awarded to Mac. Mm-hmm. Anything from the panel group? John?
Well, we had talked a little bit about that. This is kind of out of our area, but it's a regional. It's a Gold Star Family's Memorial Monument, and the groundbreaking is Monday, February 8th at 4 p.m. in the Veterans Memorial Park in Port St. Lucie. They've presented it to our Veterans Council and other places for those that might want to support the cause, and of course, it is a tribute to those that have lost sons or daughters. And
the loss of a soldier or Marine or sailor or Air Force member, you think of the loss of the individual immediately, but you don't realize the impact on the family. And that's what that gold star symbolizes. I mean, it's enormous. I could not imagine personally the weight if I had lost a 19-year-old son or daughter. I mean, it would just be devastating. So, Joel?
No, sir. I don't have nothing.
Curtis?
Yeah, we are having our second annual Veterans Outreach Golf Tournament. We finally have the date. It's going to be June 18th over at Sandridge, and more to come.
Okay. Ma'am?
I was just noticing our bank account at the end of October shows that we have paid the Feldner Studios out at Fellsmere for the repairs they did on one of the monuments, and we have a balance of $11,155.01 right now. So
Yes.
thank you, Mr. Dexter.
and the Feldner Studios, was that for the cross?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Okay. All right. Our next meeting will be March the 2nd. I don't know when the Ides of March is. Is that the 9th? I'm not sure. But anyway.
The Ides of March, I think, is the 15th before St.
It's in the
Patty's
middle.
Day, the 17th.
Okay, yeah, just say it's in the middle.
All right. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. And this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.